So, have you been keeping up with the mystery of the 2014 disappearance of Malaysian Air Flight 370? I have to admit, I really haven't been. But if you've been in your basement the past 7 years, going over charts and graphs of the Indian Ocean, trying to solve one of the greatest mysteries in the history of aviation, well then have I got some news for you. Next, on Maximus. Well, season's greetings and salutations to all you aviation enthusiasts all around the world. Well, British aeronautical engineer Richard Godfrey, who has spent more than a year searching for the possible location of Malaysian Air Flight MH370, a Boeing 777 that disappeared over the southern Indian Ocean in March of 2014, has told the BBC recently that he hoped that he may finally be able to give closure to the next of kin, as well as answers to the flying public and the aviation industry on exactly what happened with Malaysian Air Flight MH370 and how we can prevent similar disappearances in the future. Godfrey believes the Boeing 777 that vanished from radar in March of 2014 crashed in the Indian Ocean 2,000 kilometers west of Perth in Western Australia. Godfrey said locating it was a complicated exercise, but previously there was simply a lack of lateral thinking across multiple disciplines to bring this together. No one had the idea before to combine Inmarsat satellite data with Boeing performance data along with oceanographic floating debris drift data, as well as with WSPR net data. Okay, I'm not really sure what WSPR net data is, because he never really explained what it was. So if any of you know, let me know down below. Godfrey said the work his team had done had been progressing for a year now. And we've done quite a lot of testing of this new idea, and we've got the confidence now to apply it to MH370. According to the BBC, the exact crash position determined by data calculation is around 33 degrees south and 95 degrees east in the Indian Ocean. There have been 2 extensive searches of the Indian Ocean for MH370 which have yielded inconclusive results. Previous searches for MH370 have been difficult because of the size of the search area. Mr. Godfrey said an area as large as 120,000 square kilometers has been searched, and that's not looking for a needle in a haystack. That's looking for something microscopic in a haystack. It's very difficult to do, he said. However, the engineer's new proposal is a circle radius of just 40 nautical miles, far smaller than previous searches. The wreckage could be behind a cliff or in a canyon on the ocean floor, he said, and you need maybe 3 or 4 passes before you start to pick things up. The wreckage could lie as far as 4,000 meters or over 13,000 feet deep, he added. In an ironic twist, in 2009, Mr. Godfrey was due to be a passenger on Air France Flight 447 from Rio de Janeiro to Paris, but work plans meant that he had to remain in Brazil. Tragically, Flight 447 never reached its destination and was lost in the Atlantic. But from this point, he became interested in flights lost at sea and locating them. Godfrey is a founding member of the MH370 Independent Group and an engineer with a background in building automatic landing systems and autopilot systems for aircraft. He said, "I've done a lot of work on information systems and handling lots of data, and that's important on this analysis. There is a huge amount of data to get through and filter out the needle in the haystack." David Gleve is the chief investigator at Aviation Safety Consultants. He has worked on airplane crashes and disappearances for decades. Mr. Gleve expects there to be a new search, saying the funding of the new search will be the issue. Given that we now have additional accurate data as to where the crash site might be, that appears to be credible and entirely consistent with other theories. The timing and launch of another search, however, will depend on the availability of specially designed equipment and also the state of the sea. He said, "Realistically, we want to be in the Southern Ocean in the southern summer, which is right about now." However, Glebe doesn't believe this search will start for another 12 months. He said because you can't get the assets together and on site in such a short period of time. He said, however, I think either the Chinese will take responsibility and look for their victims, or private companies might search, sponsored by insurance companies. There were 122 Chinese nationals on board MH370, which departed Kuala Lumpur, but never reached its final destination of Beijing. The vanishing has led to a huge number of theories as to what happened. One of the theories is that it was a pilot hijacking where the pilot took control and deactivated the radar technology before turning around above the Gulf of Thailand and heading to the west. Blvd said if you are choosing to hide the airplane in the southern Indian Ocean, just make sure it was further to the west of the standard flight path, far away from beyond the range of Australia's search and rescue team's aircraft. However, this pinpointed location is consistent with that theory, he said. So there you go. Consider this my early Christmas gift to conspiracy theorists all around the world. Speaking of Christmas, how's your shopping going? Are you finding everything you're looking for? Well, if you still haven't found a gift for that special someone, take a minute to check out the Maximus merch shops. And while you're down there, maybe stop by the Buy Me a Coffee shop as well. Links in the description below. Well, that's going to do it for now. On your way out, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. And of course, remember, leave the rubber on the runway and your troubles on the ground. And I will see you next time in the air. Yeah, this is Maximus.